Growing a business is hard, but it does not have to be. Once a week, we take a break from the hustle and bustle in business to talk about innovations and what's new in the C suite. This is the Fractional C Suite Retreat, and I'm Joseph Frost. Pull up a seat at the fire, grab a drink, smoke a cigar, and just join me as we relax, learn, and get inspired. This retreat is sponsored by your CMO, helping organizations grow with better marketing strategy.
Hello, welcome to the C-Suite Retreat. My name's Dave Blanchard. I'll be the guest host today. I'm a fractional CMO with your CMO. I also manage the partner program for your CMO, and I'm talking with one of our partners today, Shantanoo Govilkar. And Shantanu, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and how you help?
All right. Hey, thank you, Dave, and glad to be invited to this podcast. It's a privilege. I help business owners adopt technology. And as you can imagine, technology is the opportunity that the business owners take, but there is a risk side to adopting that technology. So when we interact with business owners, I often manage that golden balance between the opportunity side of adoption versus the risk that the business is inherently assuming by adopting that technology. And then we develop solutions that keep them secure and help them grow as per their expectations.
Great. Yeah, I know that's a difficult balance to keep because in technology, deploying any technology is an investment itself. You just doesn't just deploy itself. And
Mhm.
so taking resources away from other things in order to make that investment, and then making sure that that investment pays off is absolutely critical. I don't know how many times I've heard stories or seen businesses invest in technology that ends up not ever being deployed or not producing the results. So before we get into the sort of the larger topic we're going to talk about, maybe you talk a little bit about that. How do you help businesses navigate that?
Okay, so there are multiple entry points, if you will. So many times we start with a founder, CEOs, and it's like Shantanu. I heard about this particular technology, and we've been doing it since mobile days, 2000 and .com. Like, how can we grow our company and sustain that growth? And that's more often entry point that we get with. And we go about doing that. And we ask three simple questions that what's your revenue today? How much you want your revenue to be in, say, 3 years from now? And do your current systems, or are your current systems capable of delivering and sustaining that growth? And that opens the Pandora's box, and lot of ideation starts flowing. And that's typically the most I will say prevalent entry point. There are a few other entry points where the founder, the CEO is like, hey, I want to do X technology, and this is my goal in that, and I know I'm committed to adopting to it. Can you build a roadmap and deliver the thing? And that's also the only nuance there we go with is whenever a CEO or a founder is that with that conviction, we try to bring the risk angle of adopting that technology so that as a true advisor, we are educating the client on the 360 degrees of the opportunity here. So I would say those are primarily top two entry points. There are a few more. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good kind of jumping off point. A lot of CEOs today are saying, I want to implement AI, right?
hmm Oh,
So
really? I have not heard of any.
everyone you talk to, right?
Yeah.
So how do you help them navigate that? Because I know there's a famous MIT study that says that businesses that have implemented AI, 95% of them or 85% of them have failed to get any sort of return out of it. So it clearly just saying I want to implement AI is not a formula for success. So what do CEOs need to be thinking about when they're thinking about how do I deploy AI?
Yeah, I would say it's
Specifically to marketing technology. That's
yeah.
our focus.
Okay, yeah, and that's what we do too. So we're very much aligned there. I would say, regardless of MarTech, there are top two questions the CEOs need to answer for themselves and their company more so as a whole. Number one, what is your adoption style to anything new? Including whether it's a new coffee machine, where the old jugs are gone and now you put some little cup in that and all that, how your organization has adopted to the change. That's
Mm.
number one introspection. Don't think technology, don't think AI, just adoption of change. And then find your pulse as to, okay, for me and my company, these are the change agents, the people, and these are the change triggers. This is when things become successful. Then we layer it up with AI technology per se. And as we go there are multiple additional questions as to what kind of area of the business I want to prioritize and make it pilot. Almost 80% of business owners choose marketing technology as the top shot because that's the highest growth, highest opportunity. So, in content, in campaigns, in several other channels, everywhere, as you can say. Um, so, however, there is no one size fits all. So, having that clarity as to which business function I want to choose. If you go with the whole enchilada, that's often the 95% statistics you talked about, unfortunately, as such. So I would say that is number one. The number two is what use cases you want. We talked about some right now, like do I want to do content production through AI? Do I want to do campaigns and some automation through AI? Do I want there is an AI SDR who is like doing the signals and picking up the market signals and targeting the right prospects in an account-based marketing kind of scenario. So finding the use cases, that is number two. Then we go to the most important part. Number three is a phased approach. So even if, let's say, there is a nice workshop we conduct, half a day, 27 ideas come, and if we go with all of them, again, no, no, that's a flag. So we create a roadmap saying out of these 27, let's pick up these three and common parameters like business value, implementation complexity, the budget, order of magnitude, and all that. So we demystify all that layer by layer when we work together on that. But that's, I would say, at a high level is the way to go. So as you can see, the AI and technology are coming latest. People, business culture, and business appetite for growth are the primary drivers.
That's an interesting insight, I think, because I can imagine some businesses love change and they love adopting new technologies and they can kind of live with something that works and they can fill in the gaps. They're good at that. Some are the last one on the block to do anything, and
Mhm.
so they have a different approach and being able to know that and build a plan that fits with that. I could see where that would be important. It's maybe talk a little bit more about how that differs from someone, that's kind of the spectrum is somebody who's leading edge and wants to be the first one to market with a certain technology and others who are maybe a little bit more fearful. How do you navigate that?
Yeah, I think there is one common theme, and then I will discuss the nuances. And if I could quote Bruce Schneier, the inventor of encryption, MIT fellow, perhaps the most the cerebral person when it comes to technology. And he has a very famous quote that if you think technology can solve your business problems, you don't understand business, nor you understand technology.
Okay.
And we truly have to start with that premise as saying, hey, let's get back to the basics, because we cannot fix broken processes, we cannot fix broken cultures, and so on and so forth. So from a nuance point of view, the adoption has to fit into the DNA of the organization, and there
Hmm.
is no one thing for the DNA, as the DNA itself, as the common helix structure. There are so many connections, so many twists and turns, and think literally visualize that DNA not only as a metaphor, but really the solution blueprint, that this is what we have to address in our company, and then find the right antibody or body, and then apply it to the situation at hand. So there are some early adopters where we need to work with them to slow them down.
Hmm.
There are some early or late adopters, and for those late adopters, those are the perhaps the best customers who often deliver successful implementations, because the mistakes are made by early adopters, and then the late adopters are piggybacking on those lessons learned and everything in there. So for a early follower category in the bell curve, right, of adoption, the followers are often more successful, but their goals are low sometimes. So that's what you have to work on, saying, you have to ratchet it up. Go for the jugular. Don't undersell yourself, your organizations.
You might encourage them to be a little bit more ambitious, to take on a little bit more than
Yeah.
based on your experience. You can assure them that they can accomplish more than what they're laying out to do. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. So,
Precisely, yeah. And owners, founders are often I want it yesterday mindset, and which is fair. That's why they have grown such a successful business, because they have the vision and they know the value of time. So
mm,
managing all that in a bite-sized pieces, so that we address their business urgencies, and which exist, and let's not beat around the bush. We have to address them while keeping the risk aspect or the delivery aspect in check. That if it's going to take 6 weeks, it's going to take 6 weeks.
mhm.
I cannot do it in 6 days, kind of thing.
No magic
Yeah,
bullets.
yeah, yeah.
Well, it sounds like you also do a lot of you help your clients think through what are our priorities and how do we evaluate idea A, B, and C against each other and pick one based on various factors. So there's a lot of groundwork, it sounds like, before you even get into applying AI that you have to lay
Uh,
with the client.
True that, because I think that's I don't remember whose quote it is, but it's another popular quote that you cannot fix broken processes.
Hmm.
And at the end of the day, what is AI, or what are computers, information technology? There is a manual way of doing it. Sally used to be doing it this way. The purchase order has three copies. Yellow copies go to accounting, pink copy goes to purchasing, and the main copy goes to the vendor or whatever, right? So all those processes is what we are automating. And instead of the three color copies, now Sally is on computer and entering the purchase order, and three transactions go to three people. But if that process is not, number one, nimble and adaptive to the changing business demands, and if it is not resilient to the business risks that it is exposed to, the process is going to be broken.
Hmm.
So that's where we keep kind of coming to that cliche that you can't fix a broken processes. So no AI can work on that. And recently, we did a webinar on the risks of AI and hallucination. Perhaps, I may be going little, the gearhead in me suddenly now, going full swing. But hallucinations is fairly common phenomenon in humans also. So I can take that. So the AI does go haywire if it is fed broken data or broken process knowledge, because now it's confused as any human would be confused.
Hmm.
And then and that's where I think in Australia there was a $600,000 lawsuit the Australian business won by some big four. Actually, that's why it was in news, where the intern used the AI and delivered the report, and the report was all crazy, and
Oh.
nobody checked. So those things are coming, and there are punitive provisions in law in many jurisdictions on, in a way, incorrect deliverables. AI got nothing to do with it in there. It is like what the customer asked for and the deliverable did not match, and nobody checked because of the hallucination.
So that's an important thing. I've heard maybe elaborate a little bit more on that. So I've heard that one of the keys to effective AI adoption is human in the loop.
Okay.
There's got to be a human in the loop. So can you say more about that? What the importance of that and what does that mean?
Yeah, I think somewhere I think it's one of the Jamie Dimon, I think JPM, that AI will not take your jobs. People who don't know AI
Mm,
will not have jobs, and that's where the core essence of AI is, and the human more so is very strongly manifested, where you cannot run a business without people. No, and this is, if you really look at it, almost 100-year window of history, every new technology was spelling doom for previous. When the TV came in 2020s, 25, oh, radio is dead, radio is dead. Radio is still going strong. And more with the satellite radio and whatnot, what have you, right? Then came, oh, computer, oh, the TV is gone, this is gone, but not quite. So there are certain core tenets of humanity, they remain.
hmm
When we say humanity, it's quintessential. The human in the loop is so important.
hmm
What's going to change, and that is often for the betterment of people, is they get to use more of their brain capacity than doing the mundane, boring work, such as purchase order in triplicate and yellow copy to this and pink copy to this. You don't need that. Sally is so smart that Sally doesn't need to do that. Whereas Sally, like, oh, let me analyze the purchase order, and I found this particular vendor whose quality is better and doing deliveries are on time and their prices are better. Let's do a volume purchasing from them. Before, Sally was not able to do that.
hmm So it
So
frees people up
yeah,
to do tasks that only humans can do and
yes.
takes the mundane away. So it strikes me that AI in some ways is like any other information technology and in some ways is different. So does that make sense to you? Or and how where is it the same and where compare and contrast uh, you know automate
Yeah,
typical automation kinds of applications versus an AI application.
yeah. I think that's an excellent question. It made me really think. So what AI is doing is accepting the gray areas in information.
Okay.
Because before, let's say, uh, Dave Blanchard, allow me to pick on you, and David Blanchard for computer will be two different names.
Ah, right. Oh yeah. I ran into that problem and we spent a lot of time trying to sort that out.
Exactly. Yeah. And that was the technology pre-AI, because they say, hey, literalist, that okay, this and this are not same because the spelling is not same. I don't understand. And the sorry for the agony IT created on you because of that. But so that's, I will say, a good example of pre-AI. Whereas today, you have one credit card with your full formal name, David, and another with Dave, and everything. AI will pick that up and say, ah, same person. it will have the knowledge to go and say, just check the SSN. If the social security number is same, the
Mm,
spelling of the first name doesn't matter.
mm, mm.
And it will have, it's like, oh, the synonyms for formal David are Dave, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So that is the power of AI, where it accepts the fuzzy state a bit, not entirely, because that's where AI goes crazy in hallucination when it becomes too fuzzy. But it
Well,
can
because
accept.
there could actually be another Dave Blanchard, and it thinks that I'm the same, and so that's a hallucination. That
That's the hallucination. Yeah, if they don't check the SSN, then suddenly, you get a nice $1 million check somewhere, or the other end of the stick.
so very
But
cool.
great question. Great question. And I hope this simple, analogy helps.
Yeah. What else would you advise? I'm a CEO, business owner, founder. I'm thinking about, where might I, what are some of the applications in marketing where you're seeing AI be applied successfully?
Yeah. Yeah. So I would like to take it in two parts. One is a little bit of taxonomy, because let's say when we say a car could be a performance car, a car could be racing car, a car could be everyday point A to point B car. Let's say I'm just taking three examples. And you choose the car based on your needs, affordability, and several other factors.
Mhm.
And similarly, AI, now if we switch to AI, there are multiple types of AI, at least four to five different major. Even that area itself is gray because AI is so nascent. But there is a basic AI, which is like on a website, there is a chatbot. And now that chatbot is picking up information for you from a customer service point of view. I would say those are like AI agents. So initially they were chatbots. Now they're called AI agents because they're doing a lot deeper work than a simple chatbot that, hey, how can I help? And they don't help, right? Whereas these guys at least do 10-20% help. Now you dial it up several steps above, and the North Star of AI is, I have 3 days in Paris. Book me a hotel and a flight. My budget is this much, and send that in confirmation to me and my wife.
Mhm.
Boom, you got the email, everything. And
Mhm.
it is happening today. So you can see how complex of a task
Mhm.
it was
Mhm.
to pull so many information sources, compare them, fit them in the budget, and create an itinerary that is amenable to me. And there are certain layers in between. So from an AI agent to a full-blown RAG agentic AI, then there are a lot more complex jargons on that. So there are several shades of AI, and one has to choose based on their needs and the DNA, what we talked about.
Mhm.
If the organization is resistant to change, last thing we want to do is give that ultra complex use case of booking a vacation simply on some verbal 2-minute prompt
Mhm.
saying do that, because people will not like it, and they will, and some hallucination, some error happens, the word goes out, nobody uses it, adoption fails.
Mhm.
So So finding that entry point as to what would offer, what category of AI I want to start with. More often than not, and I don't want to make it as a blanket statement, but AI agent is often a good customer facing adoption point or entry point. Whereas now let's go into the MarTech angle, the second part of the, as such. And in MarTech, the humanized content development is probably the most promising use case we have seen. And I'll tell you why. And even the fellow CMOs would agree with me, because we work with them, that generating unique content is the number one challenge
Mm-hmm.
for organizations a certain size. They don't have people, they don't have cerebral, they don't have access to resources,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where. But having a human, and with that human, we have a client where they have one content developer
Mm-hmm.
and a series of AI steps, and they are generating 10 genuine blog posts with their SEO page rank improved by about 300, 400% in 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
That is the AI you want. That, so the content developer with their command over English, their command over articulation, that cannot be replaced.
Mm-hmm.
If you have someone saying, "Hey, we generate all our content through AI," simply wish them luck. They are that 95%. Again, I'm telling you. So that's where the human in the loop and the adoption and having the right technology helps.
Mm-hmm.
The MarTech itself is, I will say, there is no function in MarTech you cannot touch through AI. So that's where it becomes bit. But content creation is by far, I will say, the best.
That would be some places to start looking if you're
Mm.
feeling like, I don't want to be left behind. Content creation would be a good place to start looking.
Absolutely.
And just to elaborate on that a little bit more, I know I've done a little bit of that myself, where actually, because I found myself stuck with the blank page. And what do I write about? What do I think about? How do I make it authentic? And then it dawned on me, I record almost all my client meetings and prospect meetings. And so we created a little bot that took that content and created posts from it. And we've got a little, actually, your CMO has a tool that does that now. Um, so that to me is an example of what you're talking about, where you've got
Mm.
you have a human interaction, and then it's taking that and reformatting it into posts almost effortlessly.
Yeah. And it's human nature. You have something in front of you, you respond faster.
Mm.
That's the way cognitive circuits work. But when you have that blank space, unless you're Taylor Swift, you don't have a song. So
Even she's got a life that she prompts her to write songs.
yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, any other thing you want to kind of cover in the AI MarTech space? Any other advice you want to give?
I would say yes. I think governance come to my mind and shadow AI. And let me explain. I had one customer. Theo had a frantic call like, "Hey, my director of account, there's like a $170,000 bill on AI,
Mm,
and we have not even adopted AI, and that is shadow AI." Because what happens is, Ernie found some chat $70 a month and goes to manager, gets approved, starts expensing $70 a month
mm,
using that AI for their purpose, whatever, and it's all legit. The spend is legit. There is no embezzlement going on,
mhm,
but no governance. So manager think, oh, Ernie is a sharp kid and Gen Z, he knows what he's doing. Tally comes from other market tech function and say, hey, I need this $120 and a month. And mostly uh, yet to see an AI pricing that is more than $200 a month.
mm,
So in a way, from a managerial authority point of view, fairly low entry of barrier.
mhm,
But
mhm,
when you have 20, 30 Ernies and Sallies doing $100 a month, it adds up.
mm, mhm,
And that's where the owners say, like, what is this? Why are they? And so we had to literally go in expense reports, weed them through and say, okay, everything is an AI, something software bill. So it's that shadow AI is a big risk financially, and the big picture is lost. Because
yeah.
now you have these siloed things doing siloed thing, and nothing is productivity is not there, benefits are
So,
not there.
so leaving AI adoption to individuals
Mhm.
is a bad strategy, it sounds like.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I guess another thing, a lot of times the charge, because maybe you could explain a little bit about tokens and how the cost runs up because it's kind of invisible. You send a an agent to go do something and it uses resources and there might be a limit, but it'll bill you for those resources. You don't know up front what it's going to take to do it. It's like a blank check. So talk a little bit about what's the cost, how does the cost of AI work?
Yeah, so while a good number of AI are fixed price, monthly, billed annually kind of models, there are some that accept data in loads, and based on that, obviously they have to store that data somewhere, and that's where the flex, many times they call it flex pricing, kicks in, usage base, and then you are consuming the credits, and then each credit is $10, what have you, and then lo and behold, and the more data you upload, the cost goes prohibitive because people, many times, the person who has purchased may not be the user. Sometimes it happens, and the user doesn't know. They're just like pouring things in.
Mhm.
Second drawback of that is confidential information. There are, I have seen almost 9 out of 10 clients shared extremely sensitive confidential engineering diagram and some trade secret pricing sheets, their products and all that.
So how do you put walls around around your intellectual property in AI?
Yeah, there is no simple way. Again, the human honor system and oversight is one. Prove the governance. That's where all that leads to that governance. So having the policies of not approving any AI purchase without certain multiple levels of authority really helps. Uh, and sometimes read the, as they say, the writing is on the wall. So the founder should say, hey, if a whole bunch of people are using AI, I better do something about it
Hmm. That
and
sounds
make it an organizational initiative than the silo. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, it sounds like there's also some employee training that should go on because a lot of people don't know things like this could cost X or this could be used if I upload this and I don't put the proper guardrails around it, then it could end up in the wrong hands. So how do I put the guardrails around it? So it sounds like it's just some basic AI training that probably should be people should be thinking about deploying something like that
It
sooner
should
than
be two things there. And for a larger kind of a organization, closer to like say 40, 50, there may be a possibility of doing a private AI, which means, and in the jargon for that is SLM, small language model, or where all the knowledge is within my walls and firewalls of my company.
Mhm.
And now I still get the benefit of AI and the knowledge base that gets refreshed, but nothing is going out. So even if Sandra is uploading pricing file, she's uploading within the company. So
Mm,
adopting to such private, similar to, I think many business owners are now used to the term private cloud and public cloud
mhm.
in their dictum. So I would say think of that. I don't think maybe you and me will get credit for coining these terms, but private AI and public AI, and going through public AI is important. And second part of that is, and that's where the technology service provider in us. So in addition to the management, that we enforce data loss prevention, DLP controls, where certain data, if it is moving, red flags everywhere. Saying,
Mm,
hey, this pricing sheet, if it is tagged as a crown jewel data, and if somebody is trying to email it or somebody is trying to upload it to a cloud or SLM or LLM, it will stop. Managers get notification, and we have technologies for that. So those are a couple of I would say solutions to have a healthy AI.
well, that's great. Okay, that's very helpful. Well, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about you. What keeps you up at night?
What keeps me up at night? Let me show you something. Maybe uh, look at her. She's a 9 pound little puppy. She loves her whipped cream, puppuccino. So every time I go to Starbucks, she knows that the lady out there is going to offer. So jokes apart, coming back to is I feel this shadow AI. I will say I see it rampantly adoption of shadow AI, and that really I would say an issue we as a organization, as a country, because the shadow AI could be going you don't know where kind of places, and so that's I will say primary
Hmm.
thing. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Um, so if someone wanted to go deeper in these topics that we've touched on today, what sort of resources might they use?
Uh, so there are public domain material. I would resort to universities because a lot of Ivy League, including universities, have executive education
Hmm.
on AI. They can, even if they don't want to be in that, say, public domain, because sometimes it becomes overwhelming. Because if you go to Harvard, you go to AI, they're like 3,000 articles. Now, where do I begin, right? That's the question. So that's where people may choose to go to companies like your CMO and their partners, saying, hey, because we know the customer, we have the white glove service with them, we have their pulse, and we can administer the education. So that there are paid services. But unless there are services like Gartner or Forrester, which are like really reputable brands, I am not too sure how much value do these paid research go. So far, I think, and that's another way. Even with the AI, the word of mouth, the friend who knows friend, often is still the way the business works, and people do my I have one CEO friend, he's like, Shantanu, look at this. And they went to Google and they like, can you can you provide your opinion on that? So they don't trust what they see.
Oh, we were talking earlier. I think you have an assessment tool that people can use. Is that something?
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's often always an option too. Where and we start with, like what we said, that the cultural, the change resistance. So the assessment tool, we our customers have found it very useful because it becomes a tailor-made suit for them.
Hmm.
That they're very clear how much it's going to cost, what they're going to adopt, where they're going to adopt, and how much it's going to cost, and when it will happen, so that everybody is on the same page, from the boardroom to the mailroom.
Is there some place that somebody can grab that? How would they access?
Um, sure, we tend not to put it. We have certain blog posts on our website alluding some preliminary knowledge, but the real additional details, I would say, just scheduling a call, 30 minute, 1 hour,
The
yeah,
best
it's,
thing
it's,
for
yeah,
you, it's not a sort of a self-service thing. It's more of a some place where you could provide that assessment and help people kind of get started. How
yeah,
do they reach out to you? What's the best way for somebody to get a hold of you?
yeah. So I'll share my phone number. Should I put it in?
I
What's
should
the best?
say it and
Okay, yeah. So my email is better. I hope you can see my name here. So it's first initial and Govilkar, S. Govilkar at divine.com. We have, in addition to my long Indian name, we have a twist on company name also. So it's DIVIHN, divine.com. So it's pronounced like the word, the spelling. So S. Govilkar at divine.com. LinkedIn, again, fairly unique name, so you can find me. There is no person with a double O in my first name, because usually my first name ends with a U, so that becomes unique. I thank my dad for that now, and mom. So yeah, yeah,
And spell your email address again because of the
yeah.
divine.
So
So yeah.
it's yeah, S Govilkar, SGOVILKAR, at D as in doctor, I V as in Victor, HN,
Okay.
DIVIHN dot.
Great. Okay. Well, Shantanu, thank you so much. It's been you
Pleasure.
provided some really good insights into AI adoption and how people should start thinking about this. This is a topic on a lot of people's minds, and we need experts like you to help us wrap our heads around it. So I really appreciate you sharing some of your experience with us today. Is there anything else as we wrap up here? Any last words of wisdom you'd like to leave our audience with?
I always say that to my business owner friends, like always find out cost of doing nothing,
Mm,
because
mm,
that's a scary thought,
mm,
especially with AI. So don't be don't be fooled by saying that AI failure means AI is going to go away, kind of thing.
mm,
No, I'll give an example of our space program. I think the first shuttle in the test, no, my heart to them, all eight astronauts lost their lives in the blast in the 70s. But look where the space program is today.
mm,
Even the lives lost, the whole country rallied up behind more mournful moment, and the resolve to do better only accentuated.
mm,
So I would not be swayed by sort of a cry wolf kind of a situation on AI. Cost of doing nothing
mm.
would be very, very, very detrimental. So that's what I would say.
Okay, great final word. Well, thank you again for spending some time with us today. And I'm Dave Blanchard signing off for the C-Suite Retreat. Take care.
Bye. Thank
And
you.
that's a wrap. There's another
Bye.
successful episode of the Fractional C-Suite Retreat. See our show notes and more episodes at fractionalcsuiteretreat.com. This podcast is sponsored by your CMO, helping organizations grow, save time and money with better marketing strategy and fractional execution. Visit them at yorcmo.com, yourcmo.com. Spelled wrong on purpose.